Somewhere, deep within the bowels of the netherworld, the demon Prince Laharl has awoken from his terrible slumber.
What fool dares awaken me, the great Laharl?
Restored after many long years, Laharl has but one goal: become the overlord and rule the netherworld with an iron fist. All demons, devils, and angels should beware his swift and adorable wrath.
No mercy, for I am Laharl, the rightful heir to the throne! Ha 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 ha!
Disgaea is a tactical RPG where you take the role of Laharl, a prince in the demon-filled netherworld. Now, as the game starts, we learn that Laharl's been asleep for a couple years, and after he's awakened by his servant Etna, he learns that the kingdom has kind of fallen apart. So, he sets out on an epic quest to beat the ever-loving hell out of every other demon he encounters and finally become the big boss. Gameplay-wise, Disgaea is a tactical RPG. You use a selection of wizards and warriors to fight in turn-based battles on large grid-based maps. Like most tactical games, positioning is key. On your turn, you move your units to various locations on the map, give them targets for their spells and attacks, and then give them the order to strike. Attacking the same enemy over and over can yield combo attacks which increase your damage, but different units have different areas of attack, so you need to be careful that you're not hitting your own troops or leaving weak soldiers unprotected. Once all your troops have gone, the enemy gets their turn, and you'll have to hope that your positioning has not placed you at their mercy. Now, in addition to fighting all sorts of dragons and swordsmen and archers, you'll also have to contend with the map itself. For you see, many maps in Disgaea have Geo Panels, which are these little colored squares that are sometimes randomized and sometimes discrete. These panels can be linked with small gemstones in order to give them bonuses. These bonuses can have positive effects such as increasing your character's attack and defense, or negative effects such as preventing them from using their special skills or even damaging them. So, positioning your troops on the right panels and taking advantage of their bonuses is another key part of strategy. In addition to tactics, Disgaea has a lot of RPG elements as well. Characters level up and gain new skills and abilities as the game progresses. You can change out weapons and even classes later on. There's even a system where you can petition the Demon Council in order to unlock new items at the shop or create high-powered characters. Now, before I go too much further, I want to talk about Disgaea's most prominent feature. That is grinding. In most RPGs, grinding is the situation where you're going back and fighting the same monsters over and over just to accumulate experience so that you can level your guys as fast as possible. This is typically seen as a necessary evil, and limited grinding is a hallmark of good game design. Disgaea, however, goes in the opposite direction, and apparently decided to make grinding part of its core gameplay. To the point that Disgaea actually has a whole system that encourages grinding for the point of repetitive leveling. Like most RPGs, your characters in Disgaea can level up as they gain experience over time. But Disgaea allows you to also transmigrate your characters. That is, bust them back down to level 1 so that they can start the whole process over again. And that might sound counterintuitive, but here's the key. Every time you do this, your character keeps a small percentage of the power that they previously gained. And the more times you do this, the more power they keep. So you can, over time, create these very strong characters that are much more powerful than their basic abilities should allow for. Now, as I'm sure you can imagine, getting all of this experience requires you to fight a lot of monsters, and Disgaea also has a system to encourage that. Disgaea has a system for item dungeons where you can select an item in your inventory, and then the game will build a series of random levels based upon that item. And you can do this as many times as you like, which gives you a near endless supply of random dungeons and monsters to battle your way through. And if you win, not only do you get experience, but your item also powers up, so you can power up your characters and your items in the same dungeon. Taken together, these two gameplay features create a crazy synergistic system where you always have new battles to fight, where your characters can always get more powerful. I mean, it's a hell of an investment, but the game's not shy about pushing you into these systems. The difficulty randomly spikes over the course of the game, and you've got no choice but to go back and grind for levels or, just give up. And this is both the strength and weakness of the game, that if you enjoy grinding, then this is damn near close to nirvana. But if you don't, well, then you are just out of luck. Because you've got to grind, and unfortunately there are some problems with the system. For instance, item dungeons have to be completed 10 levels at a time, and if you fail along the way, you basically lose all your progress. Special escape items are incredibly rare and hard to get. And even then, you can only bring about a dozen potions or healing items or extra weapons with you. Even worse, the randomized nature of the special dungeons can occasionally bite you right between your sweet cheeks. And typically, this is the fault of the randomized Geo panels, as they can provide a whole array of negative bonuses that make it nearly impossible to progress. Or, in this case, literally impossible to progress. I mean, just look at this. How am I... What am I... I can't do anything here. I've got just no options here. My, only choice is to either quit, use an incredibly expensive skill, or just leave and burn one of my rare exit items. Now, I will concede that this happens very rarely, but that it happens at all, it can still completely ruin your day. Now, before I wrap up, I would like to mention that the narrative of Disgaea is actually surprisingly enjoyable. The developers seem to have rightly assumed that, well, you're probably not playing this game for the story, so the plot and the characters are extremely tongue-in-cheek. There are lots of jokes and parodies of other action and RPG games. Each chapter also ends with a fictionalized flashback of current events.
Out of the shadows of the dugout, Etna, a mysterious pinch hitter, appears, awakening the Rotten Peach's true baseball spirit. Etna's soul burns brightly.
Alright, enough talk. I would give Disgaea 3 out of 4 stars. It is a tactical RPG that is laser focused in its design and execution. Would I recommend it? Yes, I would, but with severe caveats. Like I said before, if you do not enjoy grinding, this is not the game for you, as it is a core feature of the gameplay. However, if you like the idea of an endless variety of tactical battles, then yeah, check it out. Alright, thanks for watching. Now if you'll excuse me, it's time for a good old-fashioned game of Pretty Baseball. Alright, batter up. No swing, and ooh, yeah, that's probably going to be a walk.